welcome. This is Luna, Spirit Talks, and I'm Tushita. If you're new to the channel, you may want to check out my previous videos to get a bit of an idea of who I am and what I'm offering. Also, it will help you to catch up on the information I'm sharing because these videos tend to build on each other. So in the last video, I ended by talking a little bit about our shadow selves and the process of becoming our authentic self. Essentially, the deeper we're willing to go within, the more we'll uncover about ourselves, which means the more we're going to be challenged to change, to transform. In this work, change and transformation are really brought about by uncovering everything we can, including our shadows. So, as I've mentioned previously, our shadows are the parts of us that we'd rather not admit to. So we keep them hidden. We deny them. They're all of our guilts and our fears and our shames. Whatever we're in denial of is going to run our life behind the scenes. So remember, every part of us wants and needs to be seen and heard. If we're in denial of our shadows, they're going to find some way to act out on their own, and they're going to end up running amok at our expense. Now, most of us, if not all of us, spend an awful lot of time in denial, whether we're conscious of it or not. It provides a false sense of security. It keeps us stuck in old patterns and inauthentic ways of being. So to fully embrace our wholeness means to uncover and face our shadows. And instead of trying to get rid of them, we acknowledge them and we embrace them. We recognize that they're parts of us. It's through this process that eventually we change our shadows into our allies. But this is not by pretending that there's some positive aspect of us. It's by seeing them for what they are and finding out what their hidden purpose is. So basically, our shadows are dysfunctional parts of us. But they've usually, if not always, served a purpose. They may have kept us alive and able to put one foot in front of the other. They may have made it possible to get through a traumatic situation or a very difficult situation in the moment. It's when they become long-term solutions, a long-term way of life, that the trouble begins. So we're not killing off our shadows. We're not getting rid of them. We're getting out of denial and acknowledging them. Acknowledging and accepting them, accepting that they're a part of us, is half the battle and really the first step in transformation, in becoming our authentic self. So as we discover what they want, how they need to be nourished, which really means what part of me needs to be nourished, we integrate them and start to gain control so they no longer are running us. And then at some point down the road, in the future, we get to call upon them to help us. Now, I realize this may fly in the face of everything you've been told, so I'm going to ask you to just hang in there a little longer. This may start to make a little bit more sense as we keep going. Most of us have been taught that we need to be good, that we need to stay in the light. And we're encouraged to eliminate our fears and all negativity, to let go and to move on. And then we'll be spiritual, we'll be happy. But this really isn't spiritual. It's just denial. It denies our wholeness. Wholeness means embracing everything, the things we like about ourselves, as well as what we're hiding. All those guilts, fears, and shames. So again, we never get rid of our shadows. They're part of being human. But we can learn how to change our relationship with them. Now, this is part of the paradox. We hold the light and the dark. It's both and, not either or. Now, we can decide we want to stay in denial, but it takes a lot of energy to hold that space and can eventually become self-destructive and will never be our authentic self, which is the whole point. So again, I'm repeating, but again, our shadows insist upon being seen and heard. They'll make themselves known one way or another if we try to ignore them. And it usually isn't pretty. They often make themselves known through some sort of physical, emotional, or spiritual problem. Again, we're talking dualistic. No, we're talking paradoxical, not dualistic. The principle of duality is either or. It's light or it's dark. It's good or it's bad. It says, if we're positive, we won't be negative. Now, I'm the first one to admit it can be challenging to live in a paradoxical world, but it offers us a real opportunity for transformation, and it's based in reality. When we live within a paradoxical paradigm, we understand that we live in both the light and the dark. We're no longer trying to eliminate the problem. Instead, we're nourishing the problem. Living in an artificially positive world denies reality. There's a saying you're probably familiar with: the devil's greatest trick is to make us believe he doesn't exist. So in the same way, if we deny our shadows, pretend they don't exist, they're going to run the show behind the scenes. There is no light without shadow. We all have light and dark aspects, good and bad aspects. No one is fully good or bad. Now, I'm not talking about evil. Evil does exist, and that's a completely different subject. I'm also not encouraging you to become a criminal or be intentionally bad. I'm saying we all have shadows, and we need to learn to embrace them, to come to terms with all parts of ourselves. If we're willing to uncover and embrace them, we'll stop being a victim of them. So it's essential that we learn how to hold both the light and the dark, the yin and the yang. That's wholeness. Wholeness is brought about through an openness to change, a flexibility, and a willingness to transform. This is what I mean when I talk about jumping off the metaphorical cliff. Now, this can be a bit of a scary process because we're asked to give up what feels safe, secure, comfortable. We're asked to repeatedly walk into the unknown, into the mystery. But that's where we're going to find what we're looking for. So ultimately, we're going to need to learn how to trust in the unknown. And I'll speak more to that in a future video. I'm going to leave it here for now. I will be back soon with another video. Please hit the like and the subscribe buttons. It really helps to build the channel. And if you want more information about my work or to work with me individually, please go to lunahealer.com. You can also email me questions through the website, and I'll try to answer them down the road. My contact information should also be in the drop-down menu. So, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Until next time, be well.